Good evening YouTube, welcome back to the Gaming Cupboard. This is my video response to Pete Fighter 2's 5 game franchises you love. This was significantly for me more difficult than the VR response, the last one we did, the 5 gaming franchises you hate. I found that quite easy to compile, but doing this one, when you've got to pick 5 game franchises you love, or game types you love, just so much more difficult. If you'd have done 10, easy. If you'd have done 7, I could have done that as well. I was stuck on 6 for ages and ages, and it came down to how I was feeling on the day. So this will probably have changed by the time this video goes out, but without further ado, we'll move on to it. If you haven't seen it already, I'll try and put links in the description. Some other people have already done their response already, so Retro Bear, Yorkshire Lad's done it, Dave Bursel's done it, and obviously Pete Fighter 2, who started this VR off. So anyway, my number 1 on the list of gaming franchises I love has got to be the Zelda series, because it is my favourite gaming series, I reckon, of all of them, because I can't find anything not to love about this series. It's been through so many iterations, so many changes. Link's Awakening, originally released on the Game Boy, it's one of the best games, if not the best game on the system. The amount they crammed into this one little cartridge, and the fact that they made a DX version with another dungeon, that people loved it so much they put it on the Game Boy Color. And then with the same style of graphics, they make Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, and this one is obviously being showcased because it's being remade for the Switch and E3 at the moment. Fantastic game, and that's going to be on my to buy list later in the year. And not even just the Game Boy ones. This A Link to the Past is probably the first game that I played of the Zelda series when I was a kid. I absolutely loved this. I couldn't get very far, mind, and it was a real tough learning but the open worldness of it, the fact that you could go, well, within reason, go anywhere in the world, there's puzzles all over the place. I loved it. Fantastic game, and they've just gone to strength from there. Ocarina of Time was my reason to buy an N64. Like everyone else's reason was GoldenEye or Perfect Dark and Mario 64. Mine was Ocarina of Time. I haven't got that out of my collection at the moment, but I've got it. But they did that, and then they went on a darker turn with Majora's Mask, which, you know, is everything different about it. It's so much dark to do with death, and it's just an amazing game. Went on to that, they went on to the GameCube to Wind Waker, which everyone was expecting the graphics to be next level. They were expecting Twilight Princess graphics, and they got cel shaded, and everyone was like, what's going on? I don't expect this. But they loved it all the same, and it's been remade in HD on the Wii U. It still looks fantastic today. And then you've got the new version. There's a new Breath of the Wild being showcased. Amazing game series. I absolutely love it. It's got to be in my top 5. So next up from there, move on to a different game series, which is the Oddworld series. Now this, again, I absolutely love the artwork of the Oddworld series, as well as that. From this they went on to the video sequences, like Abe trying to save the Medokins from the Gluckins. Just the art style of the whole thing, the kind of story, the puzzles on it, the side scrolling, all the little creatures, the amount of detail that went into this game. I love it, and it's no wonder it's just such a cult classic. They then moved on to the Xbox for this and had Munch's Odyssey, which, you know, most people hated, to be fair. It was just a weird take on it. They went to platforming, but then they knocked it out of the park with Oddworld Stranger. If you haven't played this, if you haven't picked this up in your collection, you need to do it. It's such a hidden gem. This one deserves to be top of your Xbox list. It's all set in kind of a Wild West scenario, with this guy as the bounty hunter who's got to take down outlaws, and it goes from third person running around to first person shooting with a twist. You've got a crossbow instead of a gun. Your ammunition is live ammo, these little creatures you pick up as you go along from their burrows. So like these little creatures on the back, you've got like spiders which wrap up your enemies in webs to catch them. You've got fuzzles, which are little furry creatures with teeth you can set as like mines, so you can check traps for your enemies. You have to sneak up on them and grab the outlaws, and then further into the game the story takes another twist and just opens up even more to it. It's such a fantastic game. It's probably one of my favourite games of all time, and it really is. They need to bring the Oddworld series back and do it some more. So that's my second game out of the list. Now my third game out of the list is one that I didn't initially like. It's been out quite a while, it's gone through several sequels. The first time I played it, I picked it up, played it for half an hour, I didn't understand it, and I put it down, but I've had to get it again and I love it, and it's the Pikmin series. Now if you haven't played the Pikmin series, the premise of it is you're a little astronaut and you're going to another planet to farm all their resources, which turns out to be Earth, because Nintendo are quirky and funny with things like that. And you crash land, your spaceship gets split up into pieces all over the world, and you have to enlist the help of these little plant people called Pikmin to help you. So they all have their own abilities. Fire is red ones are resistant to fire, yellow ones can hold bum rocks, jump further, and the blue ones can swim. So they are thick as anything. You put them in the water, you tell them to go into the water, and they can't swim, they'll drown themselves. And you can use them to take down these bosses, which are just normally giant ladybirds and things. But it's all about, it's kind of a real-time strategy game. They've taken strategy and just kind of put a Nintendo twist on it, and I made it a little bit more interesting. So it's real time, you got to take out bosses, you got to send in your troops, they're with you kind of all the time, you dictate what they do. It's a really clever game, a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend you pick it up. The second one I think is more expensive than the first. They introduced different colours, so purple and white had their own abilities, and this one they have like a rock one and a pink one that can fly. But really fun games, and I love these games. They've got to go in my top 5. Next up, and me and Pete had a conversation about this the other day where we were just quoting from the thing, but these are point and click games. Yes, the point and click franchise is amazing. To be honest, it was always better in 2D. Like the Monkey Island games, classic. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about the sword fighting thing, where it's based on insulting your opponent, so there's no skill involved. It's just you insult them to put them off, and that's how you win. Fantastic games, all the LucasArts ones. Like I say, mostly they're better in 2D, but then they went on to Telltale Games, relaunched the Monkey Island series before they folded, which is amazingly sad that, because they did such a good job of that game. Got like Day of the Tentacle, Salmon Max, Machinarium. If you haven't played this as a point and click game, it's really fun. It's all kind of pencil drawn robots, and it's got its own soundtrack, which is amazing in itself. It's definitely worth picking up. Grim Fandango, absolute classic. And I've got things like Simon the Sorcerer and the Broken Sword series, which Jimmy Retro, he's also done one. He's a big fan of Broken Sword. So yeah, I've got to pick point and click series, and that's got to go in there. And then my last one. So everyone's probably thinking, knowing what I've talked about in my previous videos, I'm going to pick Elder Scrolls, but I'm not, because I always bang on about Elder Scrolls games, and it's just a chance to share other games that we love. So I've gone for the original Fallout series. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Fallout 3, I like the new Fallout, the way Bethesda have done them, but these games for me were just so much more. I picked them up and thinking they were quite old games and I wouldn't get into them, but I really do. The premise is the same of them. You're a vault dweller, you're living underground, you've got to go out because there's an emergency, your water ship's like failed, or you need to get a Gek to save the people in the vault. You have to go out into the world, level up, get abilities, there's little tasks and things to do so you can level up, get weapons, things like that. I got really hooked on these. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea and they probably look old and dated to most people by standards, but these were amazing games and I absolutely love them. I've spent so much time playing them, and they're games I'll go back to now, and you can't say that about many older PC games. So yeah, that is my 5 games that I absolutely love. Like I say, this will probably change by the morning because there's just so many good game franchises out there, but I wanted to try and pick some that maybe I love and other people haven't heard of, because I know that everyone's going to say like, oh, Sonic's and Mario's, and to be honest I put Zelda in there, so I'm guilty of that as well, but yeah, that couldn't not. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you like what I do. If you do, if you could be very kind and drop me a like, and if you want to see more of what I do, if you could be even kinder and drop me a subscribe, ring the bell for more content. But thanks very much guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care, bye bye.